Is she
Me?
Florida? Are you Florida? No,
I'm
South
West
Carolina.
Hollywood.
You're what?
Well, I'm originally from South Carolina, but I'm
Okay.
West Hollywood.
You're in West Hollywood. That's right. Okay. She's a WeHo girl. Whereabouts do you live?
I am.
What street?
Melrose and North Kings.
Gosh, I used to live there. I mean, like right there. That's
I
amazing. It's an
love
amazing
it. I
place.
love this area.
Yeah, I was a legend in the Abbey, Mary's,
Oh,
Rage. I hear Rage closed. I mean,
probably. It doesn't ring
I
a
don't think
bell.
they're weathering this storm from the COVID thing. So,
No, actually, Flaming Saddles closed and Hamburger Mary's is close to closing.
oh my
Yeah, it's really
gosh,
sad. West Hollywood is not going to be the same after this.
can't close. That would
They
be
put up a
ridiculous.
GoFundMe page to help support them pay rent. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
this is getting
But it's
crazy.
okay. Los Angeles has been through a lot.
I
We'll
know, we'll
come back
bounce back.
stronger.
But what about Mary?
I know.
Where will we go to see drag queen bingo?
I know. Fun fact, I'm on a yoga ball. That's what I use for at my desk.
You're
So I
what? You're
literally
on a
can.
yoga ball. Maybe I need a yoga ball. Hello, and welcome to the FringeRX podcast. I'm Anna Strong, and I'm on a mission to find a cure for autoimmune. We talk education, healing, support, do's, don'ts, wins, and losses, all to improve our quality of life. Hi, I have a great guest from WeHo, Los Angeles. Holly, come on down.
Hi.
How are
Thanks
you
for having
doing?
me. I'm great.
I'm a big fan of West Hollywood, Boys Town, WeHo, has a lot of names. Lived there for a while, miss it a lot, but it's not that far away. I could be right at your door in 35 minutes. You want to
That's
explain
right.
to me what's behind you there? I think,
Oh,
is
right
that a
here?
refrigerator? I see two bikes, but there's something on a shelf up there. What is that?
Right right here?
No, on the other
Oh,
side.
sorry. Right there? No,
Yeah.
that's my dresser.
Oh, is that your dresser? Okay. Are you in
Yeah,
your
I'm in
bedroom?
my
You have
bedroom.
to tell me where you are. You're in your bedroom?
Yeah, I'm in my bedroom.
Broadcasting live. Okay, that's great. How did you end up in West Hollywood? Have you always been from California?
No, I'm originally from South Carolina, but I moved out to California about 6 years ago. I moved to San Jose for work originally and stayed there for about 4 years. Met my now husband
Oh,
about a month
congratulations.
into, thank you. I met him a month into moving to California, so I ended up staying. And then about a year and a half ago, we moved down to LA just to have a different California experience.
Okay. Did he have a job here? I mean, what
Yes,
what brought you here? I mean, to have a new experience, yeah, but
we just wanted a change of scenery and to come down here. He works with golfers, with professional golfers, so there are a lot
oh,
of golf
okay.
courses here that he's able to work at. So
Score.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody likes golf. What do you do for a living?
So full time, I work for a tech company in their marketing department. But what my true passion is, I am a health, lifestyle, and mindset coach for people with chronic illness.
Oh, wow, that's very specific. How long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that. Well, so I have been working on this for a blog now for about 5 years. And I created a blog, Colitiscope Nutrition.com, and I created it as a safe space for people to come and find information that they may not find otherwise in living with an autoimmune disease. And I was sharing my story. And then just about 6 months ago, I started offering coaching services in addition to my blog.
Oh, nice. So do you actually charge, or do you do this out of a charity thing, or how can I find you?
So, so you can find me at either kaleidoscopenutrition.com or on my Instagram at Halls Fowler. And yes, I do charge. So these are paid services. I offer one-on-one coaching where we can really dive deep into the person's needs and what the goals that they want to achieve in their health, fitness, and mindset. And then I also offer group coaching, which is now open for enrollment.
That's
And
great.
it's a group experience because, in my experience, working or having a chronic illness, it's so isolating and you just feel really alone in this. And especially, I was diagnosed before social media. I now feel a little old saying that,
How
but
long ago was that?
13 years ago.
Wow.
So Facebook was brand new. There was no Instagram, and the
There was
forums.
MySpace. What about MySpace?
Yeah, it was there. That was there.
Yeah, no, about
Yeah.
13 years ago. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would have been it.
Yeah.
What are you diagnosed with?
So I have ulcerative colitis.
Okay, is that just the one autoimmune that you have, and that's it, right?
Yep, it's just the one. I was originally diagnosed with Crohn's disease and then re-diagnosed a year later with ulcerative colitis, both autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, you know, you're actually very unusual because usually people have more than one. They say autoimmune's addictive like that.
Can't have just one. That's true.
Yeah. And your husband, is he supportive of you? Does he understand what you're going through?
He's very supportive. Growing up, I always joked after my diagnosis and said that I was going to marry a doctor, and not for the money. It was for the the support. And then, sure enough, I married a doctor of chiropractic. So
Wow.
he's very supportive, very understanding. He actually is the one, like, he helps take care of me when I can't take care of myself. And actually, he's the one that makes me continue to laugh when I don't
Which is
feel like
very
laughing.
important. Yes.
It's so important. Yes.
So, does his chiropractic skills come in? I don't use a chiropractor, but I use an acupuncturist. So, I mean,
Okay.
do you find the chiropractic works for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm such a huge advocate of chiropractic
Well, you
care.
have to be. It's your
Um,
husband.
well, I was a big advocate of it before we met, and then it just worked out that way. But
How did you meet
I
him? Did you go to his office and he's going like, lay down? I,
no, but after we met, he did off. I did get injured, and he did offer his services.
no, his services. Okay.
But no, we met in an adult kickball league in San Jose.
An adult what?
Kickball.
Oh, a
So
kickball
like
league. Yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Usually when it starts out adult and then it has something afterwards, I'm like, where's this going?
Yeah. Well, it was in the most harmless way possible.
Oh, that's so
Our
cute.
teams.
Yes.
So he was friends with the owner of the league, and he was the medical staff. And so he was also on a team. So our teams were playing each other, and I got injured, and he came over, saved the day,
Oh, wow.
um,
That's great.
checked out my injury. And then I was so mad about I was so mad about being injured and not being able to play that I didn't even notice him
Ah,
for like he was like clearly coming over not to check out my injury, and I just completely brushed him off. And I was just so mad that I, like, whatever it was, sprained my quad. And but then the league carried on for several more weeks, and we had friends in common, and I kept seeing him at league parties. And then he eventually snuck his way onto my team the next season. So
Now,
that's where we connected.
How long have you been married?
For 3.5 years.
Okay, so he knew that you had, a condition and everything, and didn't care at all? Was that an issue at all?
No. So it's funny. When we started dating, I was 26, and I was so tired. I'd had this condition now for like 7 years, had gone through college and post college, all this date while dating. And so I just finally was tired of hiding it. So on our second date, we were eating ice cream, watching a movie. And I was like, I have to tell you something. I have an autoimmune disease. These are the symptoms. This is what happens to me. So if this doesn't work for you, then you need to let me know. So I just blurted it out, and he was kind of taken aback. But I mean, he went through 3.5 years of medical training, so like
So he
it didn't
knew what you
scare
were
him.
talking about, right?
He did, and he went and did his own research and looked it up, and he never batted an eye. He has always been supportive from the very beginning.
That's so important. Do you have any kids yet?
No kids, just
Okay.
one fur baby.
Just what?
One dog, one fur baby.
Oh, one dog. That counts. I have a grand dog, so you know. But
Yep.
when did you? What were the indications before you were diagnosed? I mean, were you just having digestive problems? What was the red flag that made you, start pursuing trying to find a diagnosis?
So I've always had digestive issues from the time, like as early as I can remember, and the doctors only diagnosed it as lactose intolerance, and gave me Lactaid pills and told me if I ate Lactaid pills, I could eat whatever I wanted, which sounds so silly now. And then, so right before I got diagnosed, I was 19 years old, and a lot of people have symptoms for months before they're diagnosed. And mine is actually kind of unusual in that I literally woke up one day and I was never better. So I woke up, I had an upset stomach. It was Memorial Day, and my dad was making ice cream. So I knew that it's like, well, I'm not missing out on this ice cream. So I did what my doctor said. I went to go get the Lactaid pills at the grocery store and took them and ate, this big Memorial Day feast. And that was the last meal that I remember eating for the next 2 weeks. It went from being a stomach ache to like, it felt like the stomach flu where I couldn't keep anything down. And I was getting weaker and weaker. And my mom is a nurse, so she was doing everything that she knew to treat a stomach flu. And she was giving me liquids. I couldn't keep the liquids down. She was giving me crackers. I couldn't keep the crackers down. And she took me to 3 different doctors, and they all sent me home with like Prevacid, some sort of antacid, like a lactose intolerance diagnosis. And then finally, at the last straw, because I don't remember this, but I stopped talking because I was so dehydrated. I guess my body was going into preservation mode. And so I wasn't even responding. I was just kind of laying there on the couch. And so my mom took me to a doctor and said that they hooked me up to IV fluids, and she was going to send me home with antacid. And my mom, who will deny it to this day, said, I will give you 2 options. You are either going to admit her into the hospital for further testing, or I'm going to leave her here in this in this room and sue you for neglect. So make your choice. Just because I'm not taking her home like this.
You'd be surprised it's the parents that actually, go like, you got to do something more than this. I've heard this story a lot. And, myself as a parent, I had a kid that had a parasite that he got from falling in the Delaware River. And I'm guilty of being the person that said, oh, come on, you're just faking. You're going to go to school. You got to go to school. But I mean, were you ever, you know, accused of faking it or not being, you know, or wanting attention? There's a host of things that I hear repeatedly from autoimmune people because you can't see it, but they feel it, and so a lot of times, not only do they suffer from the isolation, but sometimes it's also, you know, nobody believes me. So,
Yeah, I thankfully haven't really experienced a lot of that. It's more self-imposed where they never explicitly say, like, oh, you're faking it, but they will say, you're still not better. You still don't feel well. Like, this has been going on for months. Like, yeah.
I dated a guy who said he had terminal cancer, and my question was, after a couple of months, aren't you gone yet?
Oh my gosh.
I know you're a pinnacle in your field as far as nutrition is concerned. So what kind of fringe treatments are you using to get your pharmaceutical use to a minimum? And what kind of pharmaceuticals are you on?
So I feel like at one point in my life, I've been on all of them. I've tried all of them. A lot of them failed. But currently, I am on Stelara and only Stelara, thankfully.
So
I
that's easy
just
to track,
recently,
just one. Yeah.
yeah, it's so much easier. When it was a daily pill, when I was on Lialda and Imuran, and I had to take 6 pills a day for like a 20-year-old in college. Do you know how hard that is to keep track of? I
It's
was
hard
so
for me
bad.
to keep track of that. What would happen
I
if
was
you
so
missed
bad.
one? What would happen if, like, you
So,
missed one?
well, so the pills, I miss them all the time. Like I
Okay.
literally went weeks without taking them and nothing happened. And I think that was the hard part is that I didn't get negatively punished. So I'm like, it's fine if I don't take them from time to time. But really now my disease has progressed. So Stelara is one injection every 8 weeks.
So it's an
So I am,
injection. You go in
so
and
it's a,
you have it, and then you leave and you don't have to take anything?
right. And
Okay.
due to the pandemic, normally you do it in the office, but due to the pandemic, I do it at home. It's painless, it's really easy, and 5 minutes and I'm done.
So
But
you said you tried a lot of pharmaceuticals. What's the worst
mhm.
experience that you had, and how did you handle it?
So I feel really lucky because I haven't had severe side effects. Well, okay, I take that back. As soon as I said that, I thought of a terrible one.
So
Most of them have
flashback.
Yeah, most of them have not presented really terrible side effects, except for one. So
What was it?
Imuran,
Adam. What
Imuran,
is it?
yep. So
Amirin?
Imuran, mm-hmm.
How do you spell that?
Imuran,
Okay. Murian.
yep.
Okay.
So I was on that for about 6 years, and it worked. Well, it kind of worked for a
Right.
while, but I was in the deepest brain fog of my life. I don't know how I even function looking back on it because I was like, I can't even describe to you how
For
tired
six
I was.
years you had brain fog for 6 years?
For 6 years, from the time that I was 20 until I was 26. And those are like, you're supposed to have a lot of energy
You're
during
supposed
those
to not
times.
remember those years because of the tequila from the
Yeah.
college, not because of a prescription.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I'm a really so I yeah, the brain fog was horrible, and it was
But you kept
originally
doing it.
designed.
You kept taking the medication because it was
hmm
helping you so much, or just because your doctor told you to.
Well, both. So I took it because I was feeling okay, and then I kept every time I went to the doctor, I would ask like, okay, well, is there something else I can go on to? And they always said, well, I don't want to rock the boat. If it's working, we're not like, don't don't fix it if it's not broken,
Now, were
essentially.
you going to college at the time?
I
How could you do this with
miraculously,
brain fog? It must have
Well,
been so
listen,
hard.
when you black out and you're like, how did I manage to function while I was blacked out? That's kind of what it was like, because I
Wow.
managed to graduate on time with a 3.5 GPA. I studied abroad in Spain. I went back to Spain again and taught English. I traveled all over Europe. I moved to California and worked in a tech startup. I like the things that I was, oh, and I ran a marathon. Like the things that I was able to do, I don't know how I did it.
That's amazing. No, you're an amazing
Perseverance.
person, and I mean, you're kicking and screaming, and you're going out and helping other people, and I know you're. I don't know what kind of diet you're on. I know you're on a specific nutritional diet. I'm on AIP, and I have been for like 3, 4 years. But before I did that, it was excruciatingly painful. So altering your diet is huge. But what are you on?
So I've been on AIP previously. I'm now
Okay.
on a modified version between AIP and paleo. So I'm adding in a little bit of rice here and there, and I'm allowing myself the occasional piece of chocolate if I really want it. So I'm
Does it
not
have to be like
super.
95% cocoa or something like that?
So there is a specific kind that I like. It's called, and this, I'm not sponsored by them, but they're called Hue Kitchen chocolate, and they're made with coconut butter and coconut sugar. So there's no cane sugar in it.
You know what? That's
So,
what gets me is that a lot of these snacks that are out there, I'll read through the ingredients and it'll have all this stuff that I'm supposed to have, and then at the end, it goes, sugar. Why are you putting sugar in where you don't need it?
mm-hmm.
And we're talking about dried fruits that already have sugar in them, and I think coconut chips. Why would you
I
put
know.
it's already sweet. So it's crazy. And then sometimes, they use the wrong oil. We got to get somebody who's doing AIP, and that's it. That's all they do. I also saw on your website that you offer recipes and how to go shopping and everything else like that. So you are full on saying it's a nutritional thing. It's not just lactose intolerance. It's the big picture.
Oh, yes. Lactose intolerance is like just scraping the surface. I feel like it's almost insulting to say lactose intolerance because, um, I mean, it's dairy, it's gluten, it's the processed foods, it's the sugar.
The
So, yeah, it is
GMOs. Yes.
GMOs. So it's just the big picture. So what I try to focus on is eating whole foods. I mean, right now, so I am still in a little bit of a flare up. So I don't eat raw vegetables. I eat them. It's also how I have to consume them. So I have to consume them roasted so that they are easier to digest, um,
How about
and that sort of
smoothies?
thing.
Can you have raw vegetables if they're in a smoothie?
So I don't I still don't do raw vegetables in smoothies, but I do enjoy smoothies. I just put maybe a handful of berries, or a banana, or I do put, no, I used to put spinach in it. I haven't since I've been sick this time around. But yeah, berries and bananas mostly.
What do you think made you flare up this time?
I don't know.
Is
And
that
that
odd?
is, it is, yes. Because this happens so often with people where you try to go back and think about like, what did I do wrong? What could I have I done better? And like my answer to that is like it's nobody's fault. It because it wasn't a stressful environment. I wasn't overly stressed. I was eating healthy. I was actually in a really happy place in my
Okay.
life because I got sick. This flare up has been about a year and a half now. So
So
I
it's a
got
flare
sick.
up for a year and a half?
Yes, this is the
Wow.
longest one I've ever had. So October 2019, which is crazy to say. So I'm much better than I was, but I still have a little ways to go.
So this was all during the COVID. How have you been handling that?
So it's a little selfish of me to say, but it's been kind of nice because
I say that
opinion.
in traffic. I go like, this is incredible.
Yeah. So I was already hibernating because I was sick and kind of homebound to some extent because I was chained to the bathroom. So I was really able to just sit and be and allow my body to rest, because with LA and being in West Hollywood, there are 1,000 things going on at any given time of any time of day. And so I have the serious fear of missing out, and I always want to be going and doing.
That. Yeah, so you were, literally sitting it out. But nobody else was doing anything either. You know what? I find some comfort in that too. Like, because I've been so busy, I really can't go out because I've been busy. But then nobody else is going out either. So
yeah, exactly.
They're about to open our restaurants back out, so I'm pretty excited about that. But
I've never been more excited about outdoor dining in my life.
It's like I want to just be someplace where somebody brings me food. I don't care if I have to special order it. And in restaurants, being on this diet, you always have to apologize. It's like all of a sudden I'm one of those people, and I go like, no, it's medical, serious. It's medical. Okay, so you're doing the diet. Are you doing meditation at all?
Oh yes, meditation has been critical for me.
I think that helps a lot. Yes,
it really does. Especially, I don't know. Well, I think autoimmune disease in general is often triggered by stress, and being able to manage the stress with meditation has been life-changing, to say the least. Like, I start my day with a meditation, I end my day, I fall asleep to a meditation tape, and it helps me sleep better. Sometimes if I'm stressed, I'll do one midday, and they can be as short as like 5 minutes, but it really just like calms my body down.
Calms you down. Yeah, I do a lot of the guided meditations too. It just helps me to have somebody else besides myself talking to me all the time. But that's been a huge help for me. There's some pretty crazy stuff out there. I've been couch potatoing it and watching a lot of health-related stuff on Netflix. And they have things like, bee pollen and, water fasting and all this other stuff that's supposed to, flip your system around. And some people have been cured. Have you tried any fringe kind of treatments?
So I haven't. I'm really interested in it, and I think we talked about this on the phone, but I'm really interested in learning more about the I can't think of the name of it now, but it's regarding, like, this sounds gross, but stool replacement. I'm trying to think of the name for it.
Okay, now that is crazy. That's pretty good.
So this is the name of it, the fecal transplant. So the science behind it is that, it's not as gross as it sounds.
Oh my gosh,
if you research it.
It's a fecal.
But the science behind it is that by taking one of these tablets, or I don't know how many you take or the protocol, but by consuming one of these tablets, you can change the microbiome in your gut. And so it introduces a different type of flora in the gut that will then help heal your gut otherwise. So people have seen some really miraculous things happen with this.
Fecal transplant? Now, let me just try to ask this in a way
fringe.
that, yeah, it's very fringe. Now, if somebody wanted to donate, like, you do with your liver, or, it's a transplant, how would you donate your fecal? This is horrible. Are you literally taking shit? They tell you not to do that in life, but no, you're going to take it.
Literally take it. So I wish I had more information on this. I haven't read up on it in a while, but I do know that there are like teaching hospitals that do research studies on IBD, like inflammatory bowel disease, which is what I have.
Right.
They are doing studies on this. And so I think, okay, I won't say because I don't know, but there are some major hospitals in the US that have very cutting edge research studies going on right now. So I'm really curious to
That's
know
amazing. Yeah.
what happens with these studies because one of a doctor that I was friends with up in the Bay Area, he does a lot of fringe type procedures. And before these studies happen, you could only go down to Mexico to get these treatments done. And if you say like fecal transplant in Mexico, you're like, I'm out. No.
Have you actually? I've been to Mexico, but it was for stem cell therapy. Have you done any research on this?
I've read a lot on it and I'm really intrigued by it. And I think it could be life changing
I think
for a
so
lot of
too.
people.
Yeah, I mean, we're California, so you know about CERM, which is the big vote that we had over
Mm-hmm.
the election was Prop 13, and they did pass it, and that's huge. But we are so behind the world. A lot of people think that our medical is such a, everybody comes here for no. We actually leave other places
Mm-hmm.
trying to get care. I went to Mexico. I would not be here sitting that I am today because I would probably be either dead or I wouldn't be able to move. My particular
Wow.
autoimmune, it kind of turns you to stone from the inside out. It's called scleroderma.
Mm.
They said, yes, absolutely, come on down, and it did. It helped. I have to go again. It didn't fully cure it, but I think it will if we come up with the right procedure. But we need research. We need to, push forward. And the United States has got to take a leading role in that because the rest of the world, looks at us, but we haven't figured out how to make enough money off of it yet, so we're not doing it. We're scared of actually curing people instead of making money off of drugs. Yeah, if possible, contact your representatives and your senators and tell them to get off their asses, because I do think that that's an answer, and I think there's a lot of people waiting for a cure.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you do that you can advise us to keep your spirits up and kind of kick this disease in a fashion that's reliable?
Oh man. So there's no one thing that you can do. I say you have to come at it from multiple sides. So you have to have a diet that supports your body, that
Okay,
nourishes and
diet.
doesn't diminish it. You need to move your body every day, even if you don't feel like it. And when I'm sick, I usually don't feel like it, but just getting out, and sometimes I would just walk around the block, but getting the sunshine and moving your body and keeping your joints and muscles moving helps recovery as well. And like you said, the mindfulness practicing meditation, journaling, writing out all of your feelings and not leaving them bottled up inside, whether they're positive or negative or neutral, just putting them on the page, and then ending that journaling with a state of gratitude and writing out everything that you're grateful for. I think doing that every day,
Yeah,
maybe 2 times a
gratitude
day,
is the
is
big
helpful.
one. That goes for
Mm-hmm.
people that aren't even sick. If you have gratitude, you're just a happier person. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said,
Absolutely.
laughter. Is there any
Mm-hmm.
game changers you think that people should know about?
What type of game changers?
For me, it was the diet, and to finally wake up and say, you know what, I have toxic relationships, and I really got to examine who I'm spending time with, and that was
Mm-hmm.
a game changer for me.
Yeah.
So,
So for me, it's all about mindset. So I look back in like the first 8 years of having this disease, it was just like a woe is me mindset. Like, oh my gosh, like just kind of like, I think of Eeyore with the cloud over his head and just thinking like, I'm so sad. This is happening to me. Um, and I can't get rid of this chronic illness. It's going to be with me forever. But like how I let it affect my life, I can change. So
That you can
focusing, I guess
control.
it's,
Yes.
yeah, focusing what you can control, and that's your mindset. And so I like to think of everything that this disease has given me, even when it's really hard, because it's given me a community of chronic illness warriors that I can control. It's given me a better appreciation for life. So just really focusing on mindset and focusing on what's in your control.
No, you're an amazing person, and I know that you're affecting a lot of people in a positive way. And if we had more people like you, I don't think anybody would be sick.
Thank you.
But we do. We have to surround ourselves with positive people. You know, maintain a good mindset. That's half of it, and it's really hard to do when you just had somebody say, you got a chronic illness, you're going to be sick for the rest of your life. Here's some, prescriptions. It won't help. You can't focus on that. You got to
Yeah.
take it into your own hands, because there are things that you can do yourself to help. And hopefully one day we have a cure. And that's what we were going to push for.
Here's hoping. I think it's possible. It's definitely out there.
Well, you only have one autoimmune, and we do have a competition for the person with the most, and you did horribly.
I lose.
But we're going to give you a prize anyway. We're going to ship out to you a FringeRX coffee mug, so that you can maybe have coffee. I don't know if you can have coffee. I can only have tea, but it's a generic coffee cup. You can do tea or coffee or wine in it if you don't want anybody to know you're drinking wine. You just put it in a coffee mug.
I'll put my I drink matcha, so I'll drink my matcha latte in it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. As soon as this COVID thing is over, we will have people back in the studio, and Holly's going to be one. So thank you very much for spending some time with us. Take what you learn, utilize it, and have a good day.